Hey everybody. I was watching a soft white underbelly video and I'd watched a couple really good ones in the past few days. I had altogether stopped watching soft white underbelly because of Rebecca and because of the Whitakers, specifically like Mark's reaction to those situations and that content. Um, I was incredibly disgusted and repulsed and triggered. Rebecca triggered PTSD in me that I did not know I had. And once again, it wasn't Rebecca. I'm talking about the videos. So it was Mark's reaction to Rebecca literally triggered PTSD in me. And the Whitakers, I was really off put by the way that went down. So for all I know, I could have missed some updates that would change my mind. But that was like a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half. I'm not for sure. It's been a while. And I happened to get recommended a video by about this woman, and it said, I think it was like All in the Family, an incest story. And I was like, oh my God. So I clicked on it, and evidently this woman has made, I think her name's like Fifi or something. I hope that's her name, and I'm like way off the mark. I think that is the name, or at least the name she used in the video I saw. I saw one video, and it was evidently the second one in a series of three. So I just sat there with my jaw on the floor. I could not believe what this woman has been through and was sharing. And it just felt to me like she took this opportunity, like the soft white underbelly, the chair, Mark's whole thing, to really just, expel some of this truth that has been her reality her entire life in a way that like she never has probably had to do or gotten the opportunity to do. It's like she just shared and shared and shared. And it's like, my God, when you are born into a family sexual trauma on like a generational level, who in the hell are you going to tell? How do you even start? And I think she just used this opportunity to be like, this is my motherfucking story. And at one point she said that she had contacted Mark and was like, look, I need help. I need like hardcore inpatient. I'm like losing my mind because I've shared all this. And, I have all this trauma. And now my family knows about, me sharing. And according to her, she asked for inpatient treatment. And if anybody needed inpatient, it would have been her. And the fact that she was saying, I need help. Please help me. I need inpatient. I mean, was just so brave, so incredibly self-aware, so admirable, because treatment works so well, but it's like addiction treatment. It does work, but it's weird. It's almost like, when do you need it? Because if you're not ready to go to treatment, it's never going to work. And if you are ready to get help, then treatment's not going to be the make or break thing, So there are very few examples, I think, or situations where people really need help and can then get that help. And she's an example of a woman who needs help and is asking for it. And she said, Mark hooked her up with this place. They did like a virtual intake and was like, oh yeah, you don't even need, you're not a candidate for inpatient. And, I don't know, who knows what's real, how it really went down and what the full story is. But if that's true, I was like aghast. How in the hell can anybody get better if you are born into trauma and you are self-aware enough to see, wow, you see the situation. And that is like such a curse, to feel like self-aware enough to see the situation, but not aware enough or whatever to escape the confines of these fucking shackles that you were born into. It's really frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating for me. And the only thing I had that felt like a cage was my own mind and my own thoughts. But I mean, to be born into that level of trauma, see it, know it, want to do something about it, but not be able to escape the fucking cage. Wow. It's like, I feel for that woman. It's just the clarity that she spoke with. And she fucking talked about traversing like literally continents, and oceans, trying to come to terms with some of her past and her decisions, and trying to, seek like a higher cause and some type of like balancing just for her own inner sanity and peace of mind. So she's a woman who wants help and wants to do better. And I don't know. She was like the most impactful video I think I've ever seen on the soft white underbelly. I couldn't believe it. And then I saw Rebecca recommended to me, and it was like a day in the life. And it was Mark filming Rebecca like from behind, and just doing nothing. And I'm like, somebody asked early on in the video, like a passerby on a bicycle or something, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because all they saw was this man filming this person in clear distress. And Mark was like, "Oh, well, it's I felt like he got triggered. It was like, "Oh, well, why don't you educate yourself?" Something along those lines. Quit being stupid. It's a soft white underbelly. It's Rebecca. This is educational. Is it? What does it show? What does it show? At some point in society, we have to stop being like patting ourselves on the back for fucking stepping over people in the middle of the fucking street and being like, "Oh, well, at least we didn't throw them in jail." Is that better? Is that worse? I mean, there should be the mental health system. There should be a complete overhaul of the mental health system, and talk therapy should be like ingrained, real, true talk therapy, in my opinion, should be ingrained like in the education from like kindergarten on, where you can go in a room in an entirely safe space with a professional. And if you are a child who is being abused, who is in a situation where you can say in 100% safety, "This is what's going on," or you can even just talk and have that, come out after some sessions or whatever. There should be like a safe environment where you can talk to somebody, and it is talk. They fast tracked me like a motherfucker onto medication, and I was really put off by that. I have personally, and if you're an exemption to this, then you're an exemption, but I have personally never met a single person who was prescribed psychiatric medication is better off for it. People are more depressed, confused, addicted than ever. But you know what? You got a fucking label to put on it, and that's supposed to help. So like the mental health side has to be addressed, but it needs to be addressed not from a pharmaceutical anything, from a talk, one-on-one, human to human, soul to soul, safe space. And because that is the need, and I'm saying, wow, it really should be like from kindergarten on, the government is going to fuck it up. It's an impossibility for that to happen. So the only way I can see it is like we have to individually just be like, okay, well, that's a wishful thinking. That'll never happen, because once fucking Big Brother gets involved, guaranteed they're going to screw it up. It's going to be all profit and all control and all like this fucking bloodlust. It's disgusting. And, and here's Mark, filming. It would have been so honest and so ironic and just more aware than Mark could have ever been. I wish he would have had the decency and the proverbial balls to put underneath the caption, "A day in the life, Rebecca the empath," because that was another video I saw where it's like the empath. And what sickens me about Mark's videos with Rebecca is he uses Rebecca, and the last motherfucking thing Rebecca needs in the world is one more person who's going to use her for their gain. And 100% it is for Mark's own gain. Of course it's for content, but it immediately became more than that. It's like such a sugar daddy thing, because it's such a man thing. I said it in my writing, there is nothing a broken man loves more than feeling like they are fixing a broken woman. And the thing about that is that when you have a broken person wanting to fix somebody, they don't ever really want them fixed because they're broken. they really just want somebody else to keep down so that they're feeling like they can finally just like pantomime play being the white knight that they could never actually be in real life, being the hero that they never turned out to be, being the savior, being the shoulder to cry on, being the one with the resources. And once somebody actually gets fixed, then what's your role, you know? And plus there's that sexual element too, you know. It's like the same thing with Amber. Although the last video I saw of her in Kensington for the moment is that she's actually doing well, but it's not a coincidence that the most popular people on both coasts, Skid Row and Kensington, are the long-term most helpless, hopeless cases. Not really. There's always hope, and there's always a chance, but the longest term people who are barely clothed, that's not a coincidence. There are overweight, obese, people on Skid Row, but those are never the most popular. It's because it's a fucking man thing. It really is. The fact that Rebecca's a transgender 100% is a fantasy for Mark, and it disgusts me. And all the while, who's getting helped? Who's getting their eyes opened? Surely not Rebecca, surely not society. Because until we stop saying it's not enough to just step over people, to say, oh, okay, they're sick, they need help, and not actually doing that, doing anything to help them, it's disgusting. There's no point in legalizing everything unless you're going to start to have a foundation of getting to the root of what causes people to use in the first place, which is it's always trauma. It's always mental health crises. It's always usually both. But until that's addressed, then what's the point of allowing them to like shoot dope with impunity? It's disgusting. It really is. And you guarantee when Rebecca dies, if she does not change her way, Mark's going to martyr her till the fucking cows come home. It grosses me out. Y'all take it easy.